guys, and welcome to Journey Through the EGH Talk Show. We're live on all platforms, wherever you're watching, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, I don't know. But welcome one and all to the show. It's the 5th of March, 2026. Where's this month gone, and where's this year going? Welcome, everybody, and hello to all the listeners. And I am joined by my trusty team tonight. Mr. Psychic Psy, how are you?
Evening. Yeah, all good, thank you. All good.
No rants, no moans?
No rants, no bones. No.
No, we're good?
Yeah, all good.
We zenned out, are we?
We send out.
Good,
how's your hood?
Yeah, all good in the hood.
All good. Very good.
Mr. Paranormal Paul, how are we feeling this week?
I'm good, mate. I'm good this week. I'm all happy. I'm all chilled. I'm all zen. I'm ready for the show.
All chilled, all zen and ready for the show. That's what we like to hear. And as you can see, we do have our special guest. Once and all, he gets his music. We can never forget it because it was a part. He has flown in all the way from wherever.
Indiana.
Talk about our very, very favourite subject tonight. So welcome, Mr. Joey, don't take no prisoners. Sound. Welcome back to the show. And how are we, Joe?
I'm good, Russ. Hi, Paul. Si.
How we doing, mate?
Yeah, all good. In the hood, as Simon says.
All good in the hood.
Yeah, apart from I just had a big old splash of cranberry just now, and I think I drank too much cranberry. You know what that does to you?
Would it be that quick?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Quick enough that I think to myself, I won't be doing that again in a hurry. Stick to me cup of tea.
I just stick to me Pepsi Max. That's all I'm sticking.
Oh, you shouldn't be having that. It's got all crap in there.
Oh, yeah. So's life. So is life.
Aspartame and all that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah. Rat poisoning.
Rat poisoning. Yeah.
I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't be a rat like you normally are.
Hello to all our wonderful, wonderful listeners and watchers tonight. Let me know where you are watching, what you are watching on. I do believe that all the notifications have gone out because I think I actually got one on my phone tonight, which does make a difference. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Have you changed the name of the YouTube channels and all them things?
I have, yes. Everything has officially changed over to Journey Through the EGH Talk Show, but it doesn't lose any of the previous shows. It still keeps all the old ones on there. But for all our listeners, I don't know where you're watching, but is what I am doing now for the last couple of weeks. We have been loading the audio up so you can have it as a podcast onto Spotify. So we are actually on Spotify for Journey Through the EGH Talk Show on Spotify. If you want to go and get all the links, if you look on both of the EGH pages and on the Journey Through the EGH Talk page, you will find all the links to our Spotify link. So you can download it. You can listen to it in your car, and however you want to choose to do it, that is what you can do. Feel free to leave comments, ask questions, and say it's only been up for a couple of weeks. So it's for the people who can't watch live, might want to listen to it on the way to work while they're listening to our dulcet tones. Who knows? But some of the former shows could also be on our Mixcloud as well. But I don't quite know if Mixcloud is still going. Sometimes,
yeah, I think it is.
It's very hard to upload onto it. But if you want to have a listen to it, by all means. Just head over to the Spotify channel or your Spotify app and just type in Journey Through the EGH Talk Show, and you can listen to this show talking rubbish. And this one will be uploaded after the show today.
That's how I all started podcasting, wasn't it?
Yeah, during COVID, 20-minute ones. But I found them harder to do them than probably this, because obviously sometimes you did it on your own, talking to yourself. It's a bit crazy. So
amazing how technology's changed, really, isn't it? Do you remember when we was doing ghost hunts at Harwich Fort, and like we was trying to think of a way of getting video up? Do you remember? And it was going to cost a fortune. Do you remember?
We used to have to run all them cables around it.
Yeah.
If they got work, that was it. You finished.
The cables with the CCTV footage.
Yeah, that's it.
You know that.
Yeah, but we were thinking about doing outside broadcasts at Amherst, for Amherst and that, weren't we? But
that isn't going to be too far off with the technology we have today. That isn't going to be too far off, because we didn't have a thing. You know, the game changer of it all is Starlink. That is going to be the game changer of it all, because it is instant internet anywhere that you can go, as long as you've got a power feed, which there's a lot of these generators out there that would run a router for at least 12 hours before it would even.
You probably have trouble like getting it in sort of like a multi-story building, use on the basement, because you won't be able to get a signal up Starlink or
but you've only with the Starlink you've only got to put the antenna aerial outside, and then you run the cable, which is I think you get a standard 50-meter cable with it. You could up that cable to, I'm pretty much assuming 100 meters, which for us would be very beneficial. But that's all to come. That's all to come in the near future. One of my dreams is to talk live from what we are going to talk about tonight on an actual show, and that will happen this year. I promise you guys, we will have an outside broadcast at this time of night from Rendlesham Forest. It will be proper. It won't be via phone. It will be done by a proper camera. It will have a proper link, and we will make it work somehow.
Have you looked into that one that I sent to you, where I think you just have to buy the hardware and there's no running costs? Sounds a bit too good to be true.
I think that runs on a 5G network, because it says 5G.
Oh, okay.
And I think that is running a SIM card somewhere in there.
I don't think Mr. Musk will allow a third party to sit on his stuff, do you?
No. But Mr. Musk has designed a very portable system that makes it very easy to use. But that's for another show. We are here tonight to talk about the Rendlesham Forest Incident, and we're going to talk more about the conspiracy side of things, more about the I don't know if Joe hasn't necessarily read what me, Simon, and Paul have read, but he's in the process of reading a book prior to that called The Same Thing. But myself, Paul, and Si have listened to the audiobook Sky Crash by Brenda Butler and Philip Kinsella. And Brenda Butler spent it feels like there's no other person that has spent as much time looking into the Rendlesham Forest as this lady did, with quite a few other people that she had on her journey.
Does anyone remember the year? Is it 1970s you started? Is it 70s?
I think she started in about 74, 75.
Yeah, it was before the Rendelsham incident, wasn't it? It wasn't that sort of preempted her, was it?
Way before, and she was with, I think Peter Parrish. I think they sort of started it. Yeah. And a few others. But yeah, she's one serious investigator.
She went very deep into it, into the whole, the stories that this lady has put in this book. I don't think you can actually get the book on a book like Joe's got. I think it's been taken out of publication. For what reason? But still,
I think you can get it in a Kindle format.
Yeah, and I think that's right, because obviously with Audible.
Because after I've eventually read this, I want to read the book that you guys have read, because that's more of an updated version, isn't it? I think. With extra bits.
It was kind of a book about the book Sky Crash, wasn't it?
Oh, is it right? Okay.
And how she come about
doing it.
Yeah, basically.
What, the one that you guys have read?
Yes.
It's more about talking about how she.
Yeah, how it formed, and then up to the incidents. And well, to date, I don't know if she's still out there, but I wouldn't think so. She's got to be well into. If she's listening, well into her 80s. Don't shoot me for that, but I think she has. And I know Peter Parrish doesn't go out anymore because, obviously, they've got to be in their 80s.
Well, none of us are getting any younger, are we? So, makes sense.
No, yeah, and this, you're talking. But she said, the portals are still there, and they go out now and they still see it. Oh, when she was writing this book, they were still seeing it. So.
Can I just go a little bit off patter here? I mean, it's still Rendelsham, but I've just reading recently about the ley lines. There's a ley line that goes from Glastonbury through Avebury, and it shoots up sort of like about 20 degrees heading towards East Anglia, and it ends up in Hopton. You know, Hopton-on-Sea, where there's like, I think Potters is near there, isn't it? Potters, where they do the bowls.
Yeah.
And what I've read, although it's not actually on the ley line, a lot of people theorise that a lot of the stuff that's gone on is very much linked to Sutton Hoo, the burial thing where they found that
massive,
boat. And also,
things now at Sutton Hoo, aren't they?
Well, I don't know if you know this, but apparently there's a few burial grounds in Rendelsham Forest.
Yeah.
You got to know where they are, but I'm trying to dig deeper and try and find out where they are.
Yeah. You get the skeletons right.
So I think it could be potentially linked to that. The energies of not necessarily the visitations, but the energies that people experience there, the balls of light and stuff like that. Because I mean, are the balls of light a manifestation of an alien, or are they just something different that we can't really comprehend? Just thought I'd mention that because of the activity that's witnessed at Rendelsham all the time, regardless of the actual 1980 incident, because everyone seems to focus on that, don't they?
Just while you've mentioned that, just for anybody who's new to listening, just give us a sort of I'm just going to give you a basic why we're talking about Rendelsham and how it's come on. Just for everybody who may have never heard of Rendelsham Forest, where have you been living? But Rendelsham Forest is in Suffolk. It's in England. It's just on sort of outside of Woodbridge and Bentwaters. And there was an incident of a craft potentially landing, crashing, however you want to see it, in December of 1980. We have very famous, now famous colonels, lieutenant colonels, and military personnel who have spoke about this. Obviously, we have Colonel Holt, Larry Warren, Jim Penniston, and it is dubbed Britain's Roswell. So if you want to do a little bit more digging into that, it's a very well-known case. It's all you've got to do. Put in a Google search of Rendelsham Forest Incident, and it will come up with what we are talking about tonight. We have spoke about it on loads of shows before, so I don't want to go too deep in actually what happened, but I think we will lead down that garden path at, sort of as we are speaking tonight. But yeah, back to you, Joe. Sorry.
That was it, really. I just wanted to sort of put that as a sort of preamble before we start talking about it all, because I think a lot of the incidents that happen at Rendelsham, people tend to sort of always go towards the Rendelsham 1980 incident, but I think there's a lot more that you guys have probably seen in the book that you've read, and this and in the chapters that I've read. When you read about it, I've got a way to go yet.
I will say I don't read the book. I listened to the book. So
why not? Right?
I found it very, very, what's the word? Mind blowing. beyond all shadow of doubt, because it puts the whole Rendlesham incident, I think, into questionable doubt, but in more positive ways than I could have imagined, because, you know, this Brenda Butler and other people, you know, what they potentially witnessed on that night was things that were just naturally happening in that forest well before that night. It doesn't feel like there's anything, and this, you know, when I say this, it's sort of more what happened on that 1980s, that December 1980s with the military. It happened before there. It's happened before there, you know, that we have.
I think that incident's the tip of the iceberg. There's more underneath, like an iceberg.
But there was an incident that happened, I think, around sort of a year to the date prior.
Yeah, 1979
with the but it was more
an air maintenance guy, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that was at Eastgate. That was the bit
right near it.
Yes, and it ran into what he saw run into the forest. So,
but he also witnessed lights above him.
Yeah, but then we've been there and witnessed lights above us.
Yeah, well, I don't say I've ever witnessed anything above me. I've witnessed.
I think you have that thing that shot down. We're
no, it didn't come down. Oh, what? No, that the thing far in the distance.
Yeah, what we called the meteor that shot down. We all saw it.
Yeah,
was it a meteor?
That's the only lights. But I wouldn't put that in for me. That just looked like what I would say was a meteor. It never had no difference to anything like a shooting star. It was just brighter, but it still had that same effect. It had the stream behind it. And that is all I'm saying is that you could be 100% right on what we saw. There could have been something out of it, but it didn't look anything different to what I had seen before up and down the country when shooting stars or meteors that I've seen. The only questionable light anomaly that I've witnessed in was when that thing come towards the camera when we was doing a live from it, when the very, very first time we walked around there, but that never come from height. That come along. I felt that more come up and along the pathway rather than down and along.
Yeah, it does.
So for the benefit of like the conversation, light anomaly for me at Rendlesham, I've only can put that down to really say two things with you. Obviously, just putting that with the meteor slash maybe entry of something, and that light anomaly with the camera. Obviously, you've been there more times than what I have, so you might be witnessing more light anomalies. If I can get the words.
Yeah.
Can I just ask, when you said about the meteorite in the sky, you talking about when we were somewhere we shouldn't have been?
Yeah.
And we looked up.
Yeah.
And I think the person that was with us as well, begins with J.
Yeah.
Had a GoPro.
Yeah.
That he had running all the time, because with them you can have them running for hours, can't you? Because they do slow frame rate and that. And he said, I got that, didn't he? He said, I got that. And when he got back to review the footage, it cut off just before that footage. Now, you can say it's coincidence. You can say it's intervention. Who knows?
Yeah. Evening, everybody. Thank you for joining Jane Cook. Filthy Wild Hogs, welcome along to the show. If you've got any questions, please just pop them in the chat. Let us know you're here. Don't know if Lorna Ship, don't know if you're interested. Oh, it must be a tag. Sorry. Yeah, which is weird in itself, but coincidence.
Your car alarm?
Yeah, but that's what that is normal to me. That is normal activity for Rendlesham Forest.
Oh yeah.
That's normal. I don't see anything that's untoward because.
In other words, you're expecting the out of the ordinary.
Yes, you're walking into something that it's no different to when I'm walking on a ghost hunt. We're expecting paranormal activity. I was expecting something happen that night. Did I expect it to be as full on as soon as we got there? No, I didn't. But yeah, I expected something, and I think we got pretty much something that we did the very first time that we went there. But I think we've got to now look at the bigger picture here. Evening, Steve. Evening, Dean. Thank you for all joining into the chat.
Evening.
Evening all.
Now, I know Paul's never been to the forest, so
I can't wait now.
Oh, you'll love it.
So Paul's figment of imagination has got a kick in here. But I know Paul, has listened to us enough times. He probably knows the forest like the back of his hand because we do.
I did say at one point I will bring up, and I did say to Joe the other night, I don't think I've been to Rendlesham Forest in the daylight more than 3 times. And I think that's maybe what we should also do is I want to go and sit in the day.
I think we need to go back this year and do a day and night.
Yeah, I'm going this year, definitely. Because
was that all day and night?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be there in the day, get a feel for the place so you can tell the difference between the day and night as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you do an investigation in a house, it just feels completely different at night time than it does in the day.
Yeah. And the thing is, we might be able to find them places that she walks around. She talks about the sea. She talks about a viewing area. She talks about the UFO tree.
Track 1 and track.
I think we know where they are, but
track 10, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just finding what she's looking at, because you wouldn't see a UFO. What she would say the UFO tree, you wouldn't see that at night. You wouldn't probably see a viewing area. You probably wouldn't see what she's calling the sea in the night time.
The thing that amazes me is that wherever she's sitting, she's above them trees. Now, them trees are quite high. They are quite high trees. So she's quite high up somewhere.
Right. So you're talking about the part in one of the videos where they're looking outwards and it's like they're elevated.
No, she in the book, the Sky Crash book that we've listened to, they go to I think someone's calling it the viewing point, or
they call it the viewing point. Yeah, viewing area.
Above the trees, and they witness
unless it's not above the trees. Perhaps there's a break in the trees.
Yeah,
I don't know.
She's saying that she sees the lights whizzing around the tops of the trees.
Yeah, yeah, she does.
Now, to me, driving through Rendlesham and around that area, it seems very flat.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Now, that's quite a high point, because you're probably looking at trees there could be at least 100 foot, say something between 50 and 100 feet high at some points.
Yeah,
now, the thing is, be a clearing.
Sorry.
No, sorry, mate. It could be a clearing. If you've got quite a wide area of a clearing, you're looking at the trees that way,
in the distance,
rather than you're in the trees. So if you've got a clearing and you see something above the trees, you're going to see the light still going around it.
That's true.
Rather than when you're in the trees in the forest.
If there's a gradual undulation, you could see above trees over a quarter of a mile, couldn't you? See what you mean?
Yeah.
It's a sloping elevation.
But the hot spotted area regarding Sky Crash, the book that we're listening to, is referred to over and over and over again is track 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, and look, we've got maps, we've got things like that. Now, it's what I would be quite intrigued into seeing is the one thing I can't seem to locate is where she is calling track 10. I'm not sure if it is.
We've got it.
I think track 10.
Know where it is.
Up.
We do know where it is.
Not you, the book.
So I'm assuming that opposite Folly House.
No.
Right. This is the main road. Yeah. There's Folly House here.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Car Park 9.
Yeah.
And then I think this here is track 10.
Going up. That is track 10.
And that leads up to Capel Green.
Yes.
And I think the Capel Green incident. Sorry?
That looks like a road.
No, it's a
track.
It's a track.
Just a very crude sketch. It might have been a more of a road, because that's where I think the military went up when Colonel Holt ordered them all to go up there, and they congregated in that circular bit, which is marked S.
And funny enough, when we were there one time and we were walking back down track 10, and they say you hear noises, and we heard those noises, didn't we, Joe?
Yeah.
We heard really strange noises that I couldn't explain. I couldn't tell you.
The circle that's marked S, I think, is where they congregated all the vehicles when they was doing the investigation.
Yes.
And if you look there, that's the investigation track that they took, the security patrol, on the first investigation. If you notice, they walked down from Eastgate. Can you see it?
Yeah.
There. There's Eastgate.
Yeah.
And they've walked all the way along.
Yeah.
Cut up there, and then they've gone on to track 10. I think that's track 10. And track 9 is obviously from the car park to the Eastgate.
Yeah. Good.
There are some more maps in there, but it suggests that there is more than one landing.
Yes. Yeah, I think there possibly was. And this could be where the confusion comes in.
Yeah.
To what people are seeing.
I mean, going by what I listened to, there's been multiple.
Yes, agreed, Bob.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's got absolutely everything from, I think, everything we've ever discussed on the shows. She has witnessed at some point in this forest.
I wish we could get her on the show. Do you know that? But
do you know what blows my mind the most is the bit, I think it's in your book as well as my book, is the bit where she says that guy that she took into her house,
David Daniels,
whatever the name was, and he peeled off his outer layer, and he was a reptilian.
Yeah,
I bet you knew it. I knew it.
That just blew me away, because it makes me trust a bit more in David Icke.
Yeah,
and they go on about that, and he apparently visited all ministers, didn't they? They took him to London to visit cabinet ministers.
Brenda Butler, and
he
went to see Lord Hutton.
I can't remember, mate, but I know.
Well, he stayed with her for quite a while, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, they put her in a caravan, didn't they? Put him in a caravan. And the neighbours didn't like him, did they?
No. But they had an inkling, if I remember right.
They didn't like him.
So your book is loosely similar to this book. Your book was released later on. This was released in about.
I think what Paul was saying, I think that book that we listen to is based on them findings in that book.
Yes.
With other people, sort of like quite well-known people in our time. You know, Malcolm Robinson featured quite heavily within the book. A Scottish paranormal investigator that started a few things. But there's the David Daniels incident there was absolutely mind-boggling.
Mind-blowing.
To the point that if you didn't believe in this sort of thing, you would say she's absolutely off her tree. You really would. I'm sorry,
But it wasn't just her though, Russ, was it? The other people that met him and her friend.
Yeah.
Who didn't like him.
Exactly. But that's weird in itself. Do you know what I mean? There's obviously a clash of something there, and that would be, I think, some form of spiritual connection there. I think that the person who didn't like him began to fear, and that was that would be a concern as well. And we're talking about this David Daniels. I should think he's still around today. If we're talking about reptilian creature,
yeah, that would be my one question. Does he still visit? Is he,
Well, wasn't it Australia? Someone mentioned in the book. So he was, he went by a slightly different name, but he looked the same. The description was the same. This guy obviously was meant to be extraterrestrial, but he could read minds. He, knew what he was thinking.
I couldn't get my head around his intent, though. His purpose.
I questioned it as well, because he showed himself as well, didn't he, to her? And
yeah, a couple of times, wasn't it?
I mean, was it to sort of push disclosure? I don't know.
Push the boundaries. Perhaps he was seeing how she would react to it. Maybe. Don't know.
Yeah, I was probably more. I'm putting all my cards on the table here. I want you to trust me, so I can trust you. He's obviously. I mean, what was? He wanted to know more about her, didn't he? But,
what amazed me about Brenda Butler was how she managed to wheedle away into the base and that was loads of information. But
then that was where I was going to lead with what Paul was just saying about David Daniels.
Yeah,
because you're quite right in what you're saying, like Paul and Joe.
Did he befriend her to get into
She got information that she shouldn't have been witness to. She was like a counselor to these military personnel for the ufology stuff, the paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
Come and speak to me. You're not allowed to speak to anybody else because they'd shoot you or put you down. Come and speak to me. We know it happens. The information that she has gained from them. And then we've got David Daniels that turns up to sort of then start questioning her. It's almost like this David has turned up to gain insight of what does she actually know? How close is she to knowing what really went on that night? Because the more that book went on and the more evidence that she put forward was compelling. We have on the night of 1980s of the Rendlesham Forest Incident, there was so-called 40 personnel was sent straight to the crash/landing site. They lifted the object up, they loaded it onto the back of a trailer, and it went to Germany the same night as it crashed or landed. And then it was brought back 3 months later.
And in no way is this mentioned in the December 1980 review by the military, by the police.
No.
40 people come forward to her and told her the same story. So whatever went on, how it went on, is still questionable. Crash, landing, whatever we're going on about here.
And what we don't know, Russ, is that the Rendelsham incident with Colonel Hall, with the spacecraft landing, and they'd done a plaster Paris mould of the legs. It was a tripod legged craft, apparently, and they'd done plaster Paris moulds of it. Apparently, Colonel Holt done that off his own back, or was it Penniston? I can't remember now. Was that the same craft? I don't think it was. Or was it a different craft to the one that was taken around the back of a lorry? Because there's loads of witnesses who were actually on the main Woodbridge Road that witnessed the lorry going away. The trailer lorry, one of them big Arctic lorries.
Yeah. But then we look at what the overall picture of what went on, okay? So they potentially saw whatever it was called, radar or sightings of whatever it was. What was the name of the place that I was telling you about something street in the book. Bingham Street.
Friday Street.
What is it?
Friday Street?
No, on the
I'm
sea.
thinking Friday Street near me, near my house.
Oh, Russell.
Yeah, it's on the map.
What does she call it? Something street, isn't it? Shingle Street.
Yeah, Shingle Street.
Shingle Street.
Yeah.
Now, there was multiple witnesses that night of something crash landing into the sea. Multiple witnesses the same night. And
the same night as what night?
Colonel, the Rendlesham incident that we know.
Rendlesham incident one, yeah.
What night it falls on, because no one knows. We've got multiple sightings.
But perhaps there was multiple sightings. Perhaps there was multiple.
That's my question.
Yeah.
Maybe there wasn't just one.
But I'll go. So there was a multiple sighting of this thing crashing into the ocean. Okay. There was more military personnel sent to that site than Rendlesham to go and retrieve whatever went in the ocean. Okay. But Shingle Street, there has been within the Sky Crash book, there has been personnel come forward to state that Shingle Street has an sea entrance into the base of Bentwaters and Rendlesham, Bentwaters and Woodbridge, that is underneath the ground. There is a tunnel that goes from Shingle Street underground where Russian submarine would come in.
So for the viewers, just to say, Shingle Street is right on the coast, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, the freedom of information on Shingle Street was released in 2022. That is how recent the freedom of information because Shingle Street had specific high-tech, what would you call it?
Military
weapons. It killed a bunch load of people in one hit, just like that. And I think they were German. They come onto touched ground, and this weapon went off and wiped out about 120 people in one hit.
Was this linked to the radar that they was testing at Orford Ness?
I don't know where. I do not know where Shingle Street and that what you just said. I'm sorry, forgot the name of it. Orford Ness. I don't quite know where they are in conjunction to each other.
Really close.
But yeah, Shingle Street has a massive, in my opinion, in my theory, that Shingle Street has more of an impact than Rendlesham, because you're going to find more. There was whatever they was after, they sent out to Shingle Street. They didn't care too much about what went on in Rendlesham that night, because they sent the military straight to Shingle Street. And that is in the book, where she said there was loads of military personnel was directed to Shingle Street to retrieve. Now, what landed
to retrieve a capsule or something, wasn't it?
But potentially, if we looked at maybe logistical side of things, when the craft has entered our orbit and it's coming into land, maybe it has got a capsule that breaks off. And what broke off was the thing that hit into Rendlesham. And that's what they collected, like a generator or a power cell of something. But the main object, I feel, that went into the ocean and into the tunnel where it knew it had to go, and was taken to that base where the submarines are so-called kept. Why would you put why is Shingle Street, why has that got a weapon of mass destruction on it? And I say that we're talking about a lot of people dying on a beach with one, and it wasn't like it was like boom, gone. What caused that? I know that we get these, what do they call it? When they wipe out all the technology, what are them called? EMPs that wipe out technology. This was the same sort of thing on that beachfront that wiped out these German in the war. So why are we heavily guarding such an area? You know, you've got Sizewell up the road, you've got that whole coastline, but Shingle Street has only just had a freedom of information released in 2022. That says to me there's something a lot more important going on at Shingle Street than anywhere else at that point. And I do believe that my persona of when we talk about Colonel Holt, Penniston, Larry Warren, all of them, I think they're pawns. I generally think they're pawns in the thing. And the more I look upon it, the more I think their stories were made up to give it Rendlesham the hub of it all, when yes, something went on in Rendlesham, but the hub of it all is a distraction of what went on at Shingle Street. That is my feeling, because what goes on at Rendlesham is what I think is what is being taken there. I think they are living there. I think there is something underground. You know, Simon has always said we're going there, and it's underground. They, you know, there was witnesses that witnessed something that went underground. Now, in all pretents and things, we've got a potential tunnel that leads into the new, you know, into the base
Bentwaters to Woodbridge.
From Shingle Street. That's a long old tunnel. So we've got that link of, you know, we know that there was a potential nuclear weapon there that was held there. We know that was there. And I think that was their way in and out. I generally do. And I think what come down there that night, what happened at Rendlesham with Colonel Holt, Penniston, and all that, and I think that's why all the stories are getting mixed up. They've all got been told what to say. That's why it took 2 weeks to come out. And I think they're just, yes, something went on, but I don't think it was the main Paloom that night or over that incident, what went on them days.
But then perhaps we're missing the trick then, because she could still call it forward 20 years later.
Yeah, but
calling alien craft and alien beings forward 20 years later.
But they wouldn't have known that at the time, would they?
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is we're looking at. Forget that. It's still there. It was there before. It was there before that.
Yeah, but I'm still saying it's still there now.
Yeah,
I'm saying I'm talking about the actual Rendlesham incident that night.
But we're never going to know that, because you never.
No, we're never going to know that. But I think there's a lot more to it than just, you know, what they are witnessing in them forests with, you know, the shug.
It would have been probably pandemonium, wouldn't it? Because if you look at it, right, you've got the Suffolk police involved. You've got people from Folly House involved. If the animals are all going mad in the fields, you're going to have all the farmers out, because the farmers ain't going to let their animals go mad. They're going to go out there. So you had so many people saying that they were kept quiet. But you'll never get to the bottom of it.
We know something landed / crashed at Rendlesham, because the wooden posts at the end of the runway were all snapped. At Folly House, they're now metal posts, aren't they? But back when the incident in the 1980s, that the red lights on the end of the top of them posts, the posts were snapped in half.
Yeah. And they knocked at Folly House to see if the people in Folly House were all right. So people knew what was going. People knew something had gone on there, and people had seen it.
But I think if the Folly House incident, for example, I think you could probably cover that up pretty quickly at that time of night, because I think they could quite easily knocked on your door and said, "Look, we've had a plane crash up the road. Can you just confirm everyone's all right in the house?" At 3 o'clock in the morning until the next morning, until you realise something was going on, I think your mind, someone telling you at 3 o'clock in the morning there's been a plane crash, I don't think you're living next to a runway that is a military base. I think you would get away with it. I don't think.
Didn't they say that though? Didn't they? A lot of the times they were saying that there's been an incident with a plane crash.
Yes.
So I think at that time, I think you wouldn't second guess it until you started to hear the stories that was about. In my opinion,
but even then, I think the stories only really come out through I forget her name,
Brenda.
Through the work that she done at the base as well. You know, people started opening up to her, and then she thought, okay, well, there's something else to this. So the actual people that were living in the area, they could have quite easily believed, oh yeah.
I think the majority of the witnesses were convinced by that first initial bullshit statement.
So it's only the fact that it would have probably been, that's it, put to bed until the insiders start getting the information.
Which is a shame, because all them witnesses have just forgotten about it, let it go, you know. And then, like you say, Brenda Butler's brought it all out later on. It's too late now, isn't it? You know, then people are letting it go, aren't they? They've let this incident go.
Even if they hadn't, what do you think the discussion we're having now would have been much different?
In what respect? The detail?
Just in, would we be looking back on that incident as every single person knows about it? It's not a conspiracy just because the people that lived there spoke out. I think we'd be having the same discussion.
Don't you think the conspiracy's died now? Don't you think everyone's accepting now that something happened?
No, we have, I think.
You don't think
we've been looking into it. If you mentioned it to someone else who don't really know much about it.
Yeah. And you think about it, right? The things are still coming up on YouTube. Look at that documentary that came out the other day.
I think there's been more put out about it than there has.
So where's all that still coming from? It's all new. That's not.
Yeah, but that's where you need to be careful as well, though. You know.
Yeah.
Because, like we were saying on the other shows, you know, when you get, like you say, conspiracies come forward, then they'll deliberately throw another story out there to throw you off and
disinformation.
That is what exactly the book. I think they started to sort of imply along the lines. It's no different to the Roswell incident. It's now hard to decipher what is fact and what is not fact. It's so much gone on. You know, from me, Simon and Joe, Paul just not yet, but walking around the forest, it has some form of energy. I couldn't tell you what that energy is. I didn't, it's not the fact. There's just something about that forest.
And she put it pretty good that some nights you can go in there and it's lovely, and some nights you can go in there and it's not. And that really did.
We've witnessed all of them different energies.
Yeah, that really sort of summed up the way I can go into that forest as well. Some nights I can walk through there and think, it's nothing. Some nights I can't walk down there. And that's what she was sort of saying. You do get that sort of feeling.
Yeah, there was one night I had to drag you up there. You really didn't want to go up there, did you?
No, and that's the night we saw that thing on the path.
Yeah, insectoid.
Yeah, that. Yeah, that. Exactly.
Dean has put, I watched a recent investigation of the forest on Facebook. Think it was Dudley Rhino. They walked the tracks day and night in the alleged sounding site. The guide mentioned cryptids in the forest.
Yeah.
Which I say that is very obviously. I'm a big believer in Bigfoot and things like that. So for them to be in that forest, it would not surprise me one iota. Things
that comes down again to the energies and the frequencies of the place. To me. Has it got that sort of portal?
That's why I mentioned the ley line thing and the burial grounds.
Yeah, exactly that, Joe. I think it all kind of links. She even mentioned rods. I mean, that was one of the first shows me and you done together, Russ, when I joined. You can't really see them. The rods, just rods. Do you remember them? You can't really see them with the naked eye, but it's only when
sorry, yes.
They film them and you slow down the footage and you see these sort of flying centipede-looking things.
Yeah.
But how would you're going back in the 80s and she knew about this?
Yeah. Yeah. This was early 80s.
Yeah. I mean,
well,
even when we done that show about rods, I'm pretty sure it didn't go back that far.
No.
I think I do generally believe that what she is saying is going on in that forest. The detail that she goes into, the magnitude and of what she has of evidence with people coming forward. Now, look, for all intents and purposes, to play devil's advocate, hard to do, I know, but was to say there's a bigger picture where the higher powers be sent these military men to her. Who knows? One thing that she did touch on about Colonel Holt, he was very abrasive. He was quite horrible to her in the start of it all. He didn't believe in any of it, according to the sky crash. That was his fact. Do you know what I mean? He just said there was something that he can't explain, but he never said it was UFO, and he never, he didn't want to believe it. It was that. So that sort of baffles me. Then we have obviously the cases of, two high-powered sort of colonels in Penistone, and we've got now Penistone comes out all these years later about binary code and what he saw, but never on the night. It took all this time to come out with that, so there was a change of story because he touched it.
There's also mentioned in the book that the base commander, who is higher than Holt, was meant to be. Sorry,
Comrade?
No, can't remember the name now. But the base commander was shipped off abroad.
Yeah.
Right afterwards. Now that tells you a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they actually mentioned in the book that is the classic thing the US military used to do in incidents like this, when there was like a bit of a leak. When I say a leak, where the public have stumbled across an incident that's happened that is out of the norm, whether it be military exercise or paranormal stroke alien situation. First thing they do is they just get rid of all the people involved, or they move them around so that they can't congregate, discuss it, put it out there.
Barbara's therapy.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's a shame that it didn't all get out early on when that lorry was taking it away, and all them witnesses. After a few years, it all gets diluted down. You get disinformation. I mean, we don't know half of these UFO sightings are real or not. I mean, there might be one real one and two or three disinformation to make us think, oh, it's all a load of a hodgepodgey fantasy.
Yeah.
But then that story, literally, with how the military, or how the story has come out over the main Rendlesham incident. I think it is your key mind-scrabbling event. I do generally feel that what went on them over them 3 nights, which for all intents and purposes, it could have been 3 different incidents. It could have been. I just feel that they are say this, say that, do this, do that. And then it gives a discussion. It gives that discussion of, look, something went on, but then you're going to have on the other side of the things that you're going to have people saying, well, why would it be 3 weeks apart? Why would one say this and one say that? It's then starting to dilute the story, as you're saying, because common sense kicks in, your brain kicks in, and you think, well, if something landed there, you're all going to see the same thing. Yeah, okay, fair enough, but not if it's all over 3 different nights. But letting that all going out and let that stories take their toll, I think has weakened the case for everything, because I think we have to look at the bigger picture here. And I think that the incident of the 1980s is insignificant to probably what's gone in over before that event. I think the lead up to that event, I 100%. Think is more
and maybe after.
era.
I think this book, or these two books, are a revelation. It's made me realise that the 1980 incident isn't that important in a way. It's a bit of a political hot potato. You know, there's so much politics involved. He said this, he said that. Oh, he's changed his story. He wasn't there. Well, I've got someone that says he wasn't there. Oh, well, I've got someone that says he was there.
Exactly that.
And it's like, oh my God, please sort yourselves out.
Yeah, a lot of egos have come along.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. It's my story. It's my story. Yeah.
100%.
I could have gone the other way with this when listening to the book, because everything that apparently had been witnessed there was parts when I was listening to it at work, and I'm working away and I'm listening away, and I thought, really, like this like I said earlier, this has got everything. I mean, you're throwing everything into the mix here.
Yeah.
Which is like an investigator's gold, pot of
when
gold.
You say everything, what do you mean everything? Give me a few examples. What do you mean? You talk about different.
You've got Bigfoot, rods, spirits,
Alistair Crowley,
shadow people, UFOs, orbs, everything you can think of has been witnessed, right? So I'm kind of thinking this could be the book to try and deter people from believing it, because it's in some respects it's too much.
Yeah, get it.
Yeah.
I've never been there, and after listening to this book, there's certain parts in this book where I thought, I have got to witness this for myself. I've got to get out there and at least stand here and try and fill the place.
And Paul, I think you will witness something. I do think you're going to witness something, because
but even if I don't witness something, you get that gut feeling, don't you? That's the way I always think of it. And listen, like we say on everything, what we do, I want to see it to believe it. And I'm not saying that I don't believe this book, and I'm not saying, excuse me, you could quite easily have taken the recorded, documented conversations and people that are in this place and fitted them in quite nicely into the book that's been written here. And the rest could be bullshit. I don't know. None of us know. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying there was times when I was listening to this and I thought to myself, just sounds a bit too much.
I think the difference being with what you guys have listened to and what this book is about, and the way the book's laid out, you'll get a different approach to it. For starters, that this book actually lists all the people involved, the military people.
But this is what I'm saying.
The local witnesses and all that. You won't get that. You won't get that in that Audible.
But that's public information to the people that work there. She had them records. And the same with the interviews. And it's all, you can get that information now probably through freedom of information, and that certain officers and that quite easily can be. I say easily. If you know,
what I mean is this book was written a long time ago. That book that you're listening to is a different book. That was Philip Kinsella and Brenda Butler. This was written by Brenda Butler, Dot Street, and Jenny Randalls. This predates that book that you.
Yeah, because
I know.
I think
they've used the information in the book we've had from that book.
Yeah.
So the point I'm making is that in this book, it starts off with a list of all the people. It's got all the maps. It's very regimented, if you pardon the pun. It's a different. It's different to listen to an Audible book, because I've listened to Audible books and podcasts. It's a bit different to when you read. It's hard to explain it. It's sort of
I get that.
More sort of intimate. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't change. I feel like I've taken over Russ's role of being devil's advocate. I'm not saying
You should be. You should be.
I'm not saying I'm poo-pooing it. I'm just saying that there was times when there's so much information in just one chapter. Yeah. All these different things would be mentioned, and you're like, this is too much.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah, I did get that as well. When that David Daniels appeared, that just blew me away, and I thought, this can't be real.
Yeah, but then, I wasn't even going to
put another curveball in there, right? I'm going to put another curveball in there. Could it be that forest holds a hallucination gene?
Which we mentioned this before, didn't we?
And it's still there now. So when Brenda Butler went, when we go, perhaps whichever way the wind's blowing, we pick it up. Do you get what I mean? And all of a sudden, you see things.
It's been
I don't know. I'm just.
It could be. It could be an hallucinogen. It's not, and it's we know one of the conspiracies regarding that evening of that night. It was a new.
Before it was a base.
It hasn't even got to be an hallucinogen.
No.
You think of the technology they've got, and this was a military base. You talk about MK Ultra and mind control and how to put thoughts and images into people's minds.
I'm talking about now, Paul.
Wasn't there mention of
no, exactly. If the thing is still there,
causing all this?
Yeah.
The military used that, but I reckon that might be a cover story. And that's why they saw these crazy things, because it was a test to try out this new pathogen that they created.
Yeah, and Simon.
But again, he said disinformation. We don't know, do we?
But then Simon then linked back a long time before that. They used
mustard gas that was buried there. That was buried there. And that's why they built the forest. That's why you had the pine trees.
Oh, was it?
Yes. Yeah.
Was it actually mustard gas?
Yes. It was a gas that was. Yeah.
So that's the reason why it was all planted.
Yeah. Back in 1900 and after the First World War.
Yeah.
Literally.
About 1920, I think I heard.
Yeah. Just around about that. Or no, maybe a bit before. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm just going to play devil's advocate on it because it's relatively small forest compared to other forests. If you look at Epping, if you look at Hockley, it's not a great big forest because I think we walk around it. Well, I know I walk around it on a bad knee.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's not.
The thing is, the proof's in the pudding, isn't it? You've got to. It's like when you hear about, is it East Drive, that haunted house? You hear all these stories about it, but you're not going to really believe it until you actually go there and witness it. I think all you three have been there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And then you get to see, hopefully, the phenomena that occurs.
In my eyes, there's definitely something there.
Sorry?
In my eyes, yeah, there's definitely something there.
Yeah, but what I mean is, relying on anecdotal evidence and evidence you've seen on YouTube and in a book and all that, it's not enough, is it?
No, it's not.
So it's not really enough for us. So the only way it's the proof in the pudding is actually go there and actually try and get things to happen to us, which we have had.
Oh God, yeah.
And even though Russ is very much devil's advocate a lot of the time, he can't deny that there was some strange stuff that went on. I mean, the most amazing one was when something came in the car.
Oh God!
The light come in the car and lit the car up.
Yeah,
that wasn't what I was trying to get at either. I'm not poo-pooing everything, and I certainly believe when I was just kind of thinking.
I know what you mean.
Yes, there's something there. There's definitely something there.
It was too much at once. There's all these things.
And it's
every box in the paranormal world and
literally every box.
I get what you mean. Yeah, I know.
The portals, the devil worship.
It's I forgot about that. Yeah,
all in this tiny. I'm not being funny. In this tiny forest compared to other forests, it's not the biggest of forests. It's not
witches.
Yeah, it's got everything there. And why would the hell Alistair Crowley be there? Why? I don't get that.
What was the story with Aleister Crowley for viewers and stuff?
When they're to devil worship, Aleister Crowley is a very well. He's got had a house on Loch Ness. He did a lot in Hastings with a hotel that I think he got away with. He was accused of murder. I think he got away with it, but yeah, Aleister Crowley,
like sacrificing stuff.
Yeah. And he was at that forest.
Yeah.
See what kind of crap would that do to the area and the vibration?
Again,
you know?
Were they getting high? Were they getting
stuff up like that?
Yeah.
What sort of year are we talking about for Aleister Crowley to go to?
Only about the 1940s, 50s.
1940s.
Yeah. Around about that time span, yeah.
So why did he go there?
Oh, exactly.
Perhaps he knows that there is a certain energy there, whether it be the ley lines or something to do with the Iron Age, the Anglo-Saxons, with the...
Sutton Hoo's not far, is it?
No.
And they're still digging up stuff in Sutton Hoo now, which is a stone's throw. So what's buried under... Yeah, exactly. It's really weird.
I just feel that there is something in that. I can't put my hand on it. I don't even claim to be able to sit there and place an energy to that area. I do find it a very spiritual and aggressive area. When people say, Brenda Butler has walked through there and they've felt calm and it's been nice, I don't think I've ever witnessed nice in that forest. I can't sit there and say that I've ever witnessed nice in that forest.
I think we have, haven't we?
I've always found it aggressive, and I've always found it aiming towards get out. I don't feel that I've ever felt I've connected with anything. I suppose the only one that we've really connected to that was the gentleman by the gate at Gate 9, where you can connect with a gentleman there. But all the other times where we've been there, when that energy overlaid you, that was very aggressive. I didn't find that very nice.
I didn't find that aggressive.
No, but you wouldn't, because you wasn't with us.
You found it painful, though, didn't you? It took you a few days.
Coming back.
It took you a few days to get over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was coming back. That was coming back to the here and now. Whilst I was in it, I don't think I was finding it painful. I was intrigued to where it was going.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there and say not to say it made me very, very to me that wasn't nice. I can't put that in a nice category at all.
You can't say, Russ, that every time you go there it's very unpleasant. You can say that it's indifferent sometimes, where you can.
I've never gone there and connected with anything nice. That's what I will say. I can't say I've ever gone into that forest and say, oh, look at that. There's a lovely, lovely person over there that wants to talk to me, and I'll talk to it. No, I remember walking up the path. I've had witches spit at me. I remember the time that Simon that overlaid first time. I just can't say to you, I can't be, I'm not going to lie about anything. I can't say that I've ever felt anything nice there.
What do you mean Simon overlaid the first time? Has he done it more than once?
No, whenever that incident was.
When we done the live, when we done the...
it was the recording.
Yeah.
The recording. That I can't sit there and say that was pleasant. I can't. I don't think that energy was pleasant. May have been to Simon, but my defense is it was pleasant to you, but it wasn't pleasant to us.
I think it was meant to happen. I think that's
I'm not saying it wasn't supposed to happen, but the way it spoke to a human energy outside of Simon, if it was a human being, it would have got told to F off. Don't talk to me.
If you remember right, this is allegedly the Nordics, I think it was.
Was it
the Nordics?
Yeah, it just certain things never made sense
because it was very, very defensive about its offspring. Do you remember?
Yeah. I say.
And then, crazy enough, about 6 months ago, I watched a video where a guy had actually lived with this particular race of aliens where they're very defensive about their kids. You've only got to look at them the wrong way, the kids, and these alien adult mature versions would wallop you.
Yeah, and I don't. That's why I say I didn't find that. Not to say I didn't find.
But you're looking forward to going, aren't you, Paul? But you can't wait, can you?
I can't.
And guess what, Paul? This was during the daytime.
Yeah.
I've never ever felt like I've needed to run. So I have to feel, for the balance of the argument, I've never felt like I've ever wanted to get out of there. I just don't find the energy of the forest very pleasant.
Why did you say that about running as soon as you said you're looking forward to going, Paul? Why was that the first thing that came into your head?
Because that's where I was going with it, Paul.
Oh, I must admit, last time I was there, the first time we went, I felt like running out. Really did. But I think that's warranted, because I think that from that forest, I think it can follow you. And I think it did follow us. I think whatever we had in that forest followed us, because when we got back to that cottage, that growling, you could never explain, could you? Remember, John?
Did you talk about when we went to Glenham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we walked around that corner, even you catch yourself and run back.
And we did have a point at which we thought we'd lost some time as well, because we couldn't remember a section of it that we know we should have gone past, and it didn't happen. So really
and that bloke walked out of somewhere.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird place. But everyone I've spoken to that's been there says it's a very weird place. You can't really put your finger on
and that's
stuff.
That fits the most best with me. What is there? I don't think I'm going to ever know in my lifetime. I really don't. I don't think you'll get any. I don't. For me, not to say that I've ever shut the door on Rendlesham, but I've done there. I've experienced it. My brain goes to more on the outside of Rendlesham now. The places that she's saying in her book, that's where I'm more drawn to than Rendlesham. Do you know what I mean?
The one thing I want to do is call forward like she calls forward. And I think we've got the ability to do that.
But I think we naturally do that anyway.
No, I don't think we've ever sat there and called
I wanted to say tonight, actually, during this show, that we need to, at some point, bring some chairs with us.
Yes.
And sit in and do a calling out, a CE5, as Stephen Greer would call it.
Yes.
I think we should.
That's the CE5 differs differently, because that's a meditation. The CE5 project is a meditation.
We can do that.
Calling out.
But we can do that, can't we?
I generally feel that every time we go into somewhere, you call it forward. Why would you be there?
Because it's like anything, energy, you put more energy with other energy, it makes a bigger amount of energy. So if there's 4 people meditating there, and when you meditate, you are focusing.
I get that side of it, but I think that we call it forward naturally.
Yeah, but I don't.
When you're going into that forest, your intention is to call that forward. They're telepathic. You are sending your intentions out to that energy of the skies to come and find you.
Well, I disagree with you. Is if you're in, say it was at Gressenhold, you're in a room and everyone is doing that. They want to see stuff. They're calling it. That is calling out, isn't it? You actually want it, But you must admit it's different to when you do a seance or when you do, what is it you call it when you put your hands together? Is that seance? Yeah. That is so much different. It's focusing energy into a point.
And I think the more you focus energy, the more you'll see. I think
that's why I think the C5 works.
As it's 10 people doing it. I do think it's different.
Yeah, but I think we call it naturally. I'm not saying that.
As individuals, we call it naturally, but we've never ever gone in that forest as a group and said,
amplify it.
6 of us and tried it.
Yeah, but I think we did that very, very first night there on Lane on the wood, me, Jay, Maz, you and Simon laid on them wood chips, looked up to the sky for at least 40 minutes calling it forward, and then Jaden and that come round the corner and scared the absolute bejesus out of us. But we all laid on them wood chips looking up in the sky. I do
It's
think
still casual though, I think.
Yeah,
it was casual. The intention wasn't.
I don't know. I think intention. Look, for all intents and purposes, we'll do it. I haven't got no problem in doing it, but I generally feel that you will get the same thing because we're open to it. I think.
So why is people like Philip Kinsella, big Brenda Butler, and all that going to do that in Rendlesham? Why do they go to do that as a group? Why?
Because I think Brenda Butler lived 10 minutes away from it and could go there every single night to do it.
They go there as a group.
Yeah, but then you look at
when we can go there as a group to call it forward. So why?
Then you look at when Malcolm Robinson in 2001 and 2002 went and took all them people from the pub. That second time, sod all happened, and they was all calling it forward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not going to say I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but
I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying, and I'm be well up for doing that. It doesn't. But I don't go. I would only do exactly what I do on everything I do there, calling it forward. As soon as I'm walking, as soon as I was driving up that pathway, my intention is to meet extraterrestrial. I'm opening up my mind and guiding them into what Stephen Greer was telling me to do. Let them come to me. Let them come to me. Show me. Show me. Show me. I'm putting that intention out there, and in my head, even what I'm doing, I'm still doing that. So for me, I would still do everything that I would do that same night because that is what I do.
Yeah,
different. But when I went to Cannock Chase, I'm calling it forward. I want that to come forward. Come forward. Come forward. Come and show me you're here.
Right. Okay. So why do we do a seance? Why do we do a seance?
Because that's for a guest. In my eyes, I know what that's for the guest to see. I don't need to see it, but I can make spirit push and pull somebody standing on their own. When I go, spirit, can you say yes or no? Can you push forward for yes? And they'll stand there and do it, and they will pull back. No, I don't.
Think the seance is not for guests. I think the original seance was to get messages through a circle of people, not for guests.
I think seances and things like that are for me. People who, how I use seance is for people who are not quite believing it will happen.
Yeah, I see it slightly different. I think
I don't know. Yeah, I think all the times we do things, I think it comes through stronger in a seance.
Yeah, things I think it intensifies energy. Yes.
Yeah.
But you would intensify energy because you're using a circle. And you're using hands for connection. Yeah, your energy's going because you're making a physical connection. Energy will start to naturally flow around every single person. That's a natural form of energy flow because that will happen. You are trailing that energy into the center of that. So if you want to do it, for all intents and purposes, is if you're going to intensify in a forest, you've all got to stand there and hold hands and then intensify it.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to do it.
Yeah,
but
I'd love to try it. I would love to try it and see what happens.
And I'd love someone to come out the trees and see us all standing there, holding hands.
Ring the rose.
Apparently, they were doing that.
Many white coats.
Yeah,
they could see something like Bigfoot in the trees, and they were doing that. Remember the geese with the guineas I was watching? These guineas. Yeah?
Yeah, the UFO,
and they saw
I bet you saw a lot after a few Guinnesses in that forest. No, I don't see a lot of Guinness.
That was a strange film, that.
It was a very strange film, but that's where we were. That's track 10.
That is track 10. And they are looking towards the woods that we haven't really investigated.
No. No, true. And
it actually makes me think of there's a wood called Oak Wood, which is mentioned a few times, that people don't go there. The locals don't go there at night. That would be nice.
That's probably where Crowley was.
That's where you got to head to, then, isn't it?
Yeah, someone tells
that's
you not.
That's where probably Crowley was, though. That's probably something deep shit.
That is the wood the other side of Capel Green, isn't it? You got Capel Green and you got a road, and Oakwood's on the other side of it. So that's going to be very interesting.
Oakwood is very small in contention. So Oakwood,
it's tiny little wood, isn't it?
Is at the end of what you're calling track 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where I think they're calling out, and that's where they did that seance or whatever they were doing, and they saw this figure in the trees.
I've actually bought some Ordnance Survey maps ready for when we go. It shows the footpaths that we can get to, like Oakwood, and then I can't remember where the maps are now, but I've got them somewhere.
There's a priory.
This is the latest book I've bought, though.
I'm sure I've got that book. Yeah. That's Gary Heseltine, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was written before Eastgate, left at Eastgate, or whether it's written after that. Because Larry Warren and Gary Heseltine were quite thick as thieves, but I think they'd fallen out, didn't they? Yeah, I think they did.
I think they all have fallen out. I
know, it's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, but then
it's good enough to share. I mean, if I was there, and we go and call this, do this, what we're going to do, and we get something, I'd only be too willing to share it with people, and where I got it, and the grid reference and the map reference. Here it is. Go and try it yourself.
I think Gary Heseltine's more of an investigator, like a detective investigator. I don't think he's the sort that would go and do a CE5 contact.
No, he wouldn't.
Like we would.
No,
I think he's based.
I'm only guessing now. I might be wrong.
Is based. One of his new books or something like that is based on the military, the police in the area at that time. I think there is he started some form of website or where the police on that night, or them so-called nights, could come forward and talk to him. He was
a bit like Stephen Greer's doing with the whistleblowers.
Yeah, but he's focusing on a specific people, because no one actually knew at the time. There is no real document of evidence that the police from the British police was called to the area.
Apart from, they say, in the Skywatch book.
And they've noted it, Gary Heseltine noted it, for the sheer fact is that there is an audio clip, and the military police, US military personnel, would have the siren on their cars.
We had the da-da-da-da.
And we had the nino, nino. And in that clip that was played, you heard the nino. So he knew at that point there was British law on site at that
even
time.
Colonel Holt has stated that there's British police officers there.
And if you look at it in all intents and purposes, British police would have had to have been there, because the US Army wouldn't have been allowed to come out of that gate without a UK personnel, because they would have had to get clearance to come out.
Especially with weapons.
Gate. So there would have been a lot going on before, they said they smashed through that gate. Before they even got through that gate, a lot would have had to go on to get clearance for them to come in to UK land legally with weapons, as Joe would say.
Mm.
So there's a lot that
Lot's been hushed up.
Or, what was there that night? What was it? Was it you could even look at it along the lines of, was it a demonstration plane, new technology that had crashed there, that we were trying, the Americans were trying and didn't want the British to know about? And it could have just been simple. We had all this, reverse engineering. We talk about reverse engineering with Bob Lazar and everything like that. If we're going down that route, that could have been a thing. We have, you have the so there could be many things that have gone on here. And what's better than not letting your enemies know what they were doing, then saying it was a UFO crash?
Yeah.
You know, if they couldn't get anything come out about what they were testing at that time. If I'm saying, I'm just surmising and giving you another option to it, they were never going to say, oh yeah, what crashed in that field was so and so. You know, they've got to cause a bit of stir amongst it for all intents and purposes. I don't quite know. It's all I feel is that my belief, I'm going to end on it, on my, but we'll go around every single one of you. My belief is what happened in December 80, it was a mere cover up with what went on further afield around that area. And I want to sort of say that it was all staged for different stories to come out on different nights, for people like us to come along, for people to have a debate, to cause the confusion, just like Roswell, the more evidence that comes out, the more farcical it gets. So you don't know what is true to fact and fact to true. And I think and that's why I think it is generally called the British Roswell incident, because of that. Will we ever know what's going on? I just don't feel that the stories that are coming out of the so-called people involved is the truth. I think there's more to it. I think there's a lot more to it. I think the people that Brenda Butler may have interviewed, the ones that what we may be calling whistleblowers, have told us more in-depth information, is the more logical brainwave of me. Do I go down David Daniels? I see something in David Daniels, and I think he was sent to try and find what they actually know, and get that information. It just sounded very bizarre. Unless she was on medication, I generally don't know why you would tell that story if it wasn't real. But
you're very skeptical about all of the Rendelsham 1980 December.
The 1980 stuff.
You're skeptical about all of the days.
All of the days. But okay. I'm drawn to what went on prior to that, a year prior to that. I think that's a very interesting story because we don't really hear about this story. The gentleman was, quite fearful, and he was quite open when he went and spoke to these people, and he said, look, this has happened, and they just turned around and said, yeah, don't worry about it, we know they're there and they come out quite often. What? So for them to have some form of incident there with a crash / landing / shot out the sky, yeah, I think something was bigger but further afield. I think it was a little bit of a cover up to hide what was going out further afield. Not to say nothing went on, because I say we've got evidence of things that went on that night. But what actually landed there would be my question. Do I think it was a UFO? No, I'm a little bit drawn to feeling it was something attached to a UFO that these so-called 40 military personnel could pick up and put onto a trailer and take it off base that night. That intrigues me. To bring it back 3 months later, it obviously had to be at that base. What that was, don't know. And that says my brain sort of goes to technology of testing, new equipment and things like that, because it had to come back. Why? Don't know. But I just feel the incident around the 1980s incident has just grown and grown out of proportion. Too many lies. And I think that's why the film Capel Green has been removed from the viewing figures, because I think there's quite firm evidence regarding that and what went on within that film. And that's just how it makes me feel. I think we've got a lot of, like Simon said, there's a lot of people that are going to make money out of it, saying that they were there when potentially they wasn't there, to get a little bit of, you know, that's how it makes me feel. And that's what my belief is on the incident that night. Not to say that there's something going on in that forest. What it is, I really don't know. And I don't like using the word lightly, but the word portal or some form of device lays within that forest where they can come and go pretty easy, from cryptoids, Bigfoot, the shug monkey, the red eyes that people see, to even the point, and I put it to a point, there was a story of the miners' lamps, the where they witnessed miners' lamps walking through the forest, and they had to go and investigate, but they could find no miners' lamps or people holding lamps. And then red eyes.
It's interesting because Jaden's friend said that he saw a man holding a miner's lamp.
I say, so I'll give you another instance of that. Cashie's Well, round the corner, the very first night we investigated that, miners' lamps, and then we see red eyes. I feel that there is just, I think, you know, we've got, the more we look at it down the history of the lineage of Rendlesham Forest, the spiritual side of things probably outweighs the UFO side of things a little bit. Very fine, but I think we've just got to tap into that energy somewhere along the line. And I believe that there'll be an energy somewhere within that forest that will be willing to talk and tell us what is exactly going on. Where we find that, I don't know. And that's where I will end my bit of Rendlesham Forest, and I'll go around. Whoever wants to go next can go next.
Okay. I think something did happen at Rendlesham Forest on that night, or over that period of time. I think it happened before and after, because the one thing that points me to that is Brenda Butler's words. And she said, and I quote her, in Colonel Holt's own words, he said to her, if it ever came out what happened, governments would topple. They will never, ever be allowed to tell us what really, really happened in that forest that night, whatever it was, okay? My belief is something did go on. These are not stupid people that we're talking about. We're talking about high up American officers, all of them, not just Colonel Holt, but there was also a commander as well. So I believe something goes on. I still think it's there. I don't think we'll ever find out what it was, but I will trust Holt talking to Brenda Butler. So that's how I'll leave it until I can go there and call them forward in my seance and see them come out of the trees and Paul run it. Then that will do it for me. That's me over.
Next.
I'll go then. Yeah, I think something happened. Definitely something happened. I'm just not 100% sure on everything else. Definitely spiritual there, but then I think you're going to get that in any forest. I think if you look at any forest or wooded area or previous wooded area, if you trace back long enough, you're going to find witchcrafts, you know, Satanism and this sort of thing. I need to go there and experience it for myself to get a full feel of the place. But yeah, I think something definitely went on there. Definitely. And I totally agree with that last bit you said there, Simon, as well. And with Hull, excuse me, if people, governments actually knew what goes on, not just in Rendlesham, in other places that have been recovered and whatnot, then yeah, governments would topple.
Yeah, it's a standard statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's a great statement. You know, I think we could put that to anything that we ever deal with. Telepathy.
Anything.
I think if the truth come out about anything in this world that we think, governments would topple 100%.
Yeah,
totally agree. Right, Mr. Joe, don't take prisoners.
I would say that the Rendelsham incident during the 26th, 27th, 28th December 1980 happened, probably might have even started on the 25th, might have even gone further than the 28th. I believe something happened. I think there's been a lot of disinformation, a lot of embellishment as well. Embellishment by people that've got egos, but also embellishment by people that want to hide things up and muddy the waters. Like you said, Russ, they try and I think Paul said it. They put too much in there, and it's like there's so much you're being told. It's like it's too much. It just doesn't sound. It's too good to be true, sort of thing. So I think something happened over the Christmas period of 1980. I don't think it was made up. I don't think it was to do with LSD. The first time I've heard about the mustard gas out of the woods, I've never heard of that before. I'll have to look into that because I've never heard of that before. But I just think it's all genuine. I think all these other stories about Shingle Street and all that, I think that all happened, but I don't think it's linked. I think it's a very militarized area because it's on the East Coast. It's facing Holland, Germany. It's the first place to go, isn't it, for an invasion? That's why I was doing this stuff on Orford Ness with the radar stuff. That killed lots of birds as well as people and animals. And it's frequency again, isn't it? Certain frequencies that can kill us and animals. Yeah, I believe most of it. And I always go by the, whether it's right or wrong, I always go by this way of, the justice system say innocent until proven guilty. I always do that with listening to people's stories and their anecdotes. I believe them first, rather than poo-poo it. And then I will slowly try and take it apart afterwards. So that's probably the wrong way to do it, but that's the way I am. I'm a bit of a believer. I'll trust people on what they're saying and what they saw. Even with that torch incident, we talked about at Gresson Hall where I said it was a pinching thing. I only said that because I just wanted to stir it up. I even told Simon that the other night. I wanted to stir it up because I thought that was really good evidence. I just done that to do a bit of a Russ.
That has to happen. That has to happen.
Yeah.
We can't all take what we are seeing for granted.
No, but I think sometimes skeptics work the wrong way. They start off negative and then start to perhaps believe it. I just believe it and then gnaw away at that until
disbelieve it
might fall apart.
This whole show is like that. This is what this show is about. It's about opinions. It's about when me and Paul say this all the time. We might not believe something until we see something that actually makes us think, whoa, if it fits within your psyche of thinking, you're going to believe it. If it doesn't fit within your psyche of thinking, you're not going to believe it. For all intents and purposes, I didn't not say nothing went on in that forest at them nights. Is what I'm saying is I don't believe the military personnel were saying what they were saying. I don't believe in Holt, Penistone and Warren. I don't. I believe something went on? Yes. But what went on, I don't quite know. I don't believe what we are being told by them people because they've all changed their stories over the years.
Well, even Colonel Holt said that he actually was worried about some of them servicemen that were taken away. He even actually said possibly given true serum, reprogrammed into what their story is, and K-Ultra, which is how that works, isn't it? So it's a hodgepodge, a right old bloody mess, and you're never going to get to the bottom of it.
No, You won't get to the bottom of it. But I do think that you are getting somewhere with what's going on over the recent months with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories coming out. There's little bits of snippets coming out
of people lying, and that's where I'm going with it. I think people are getting caught out by their lies, and that's what you don't have to change your story. How can you physically change your story to the night in question when you never saw it and then you saw it, and then you say you touched it on the night you was there, you said you didn't touch it, and then you say you got binary code coming through? I'm sorry, why are you changing it all these years down the line? You either touched it or you didn't. Why have you got to change it? Then you know on the night of in question you didn't touch it, but 20 years down the line you touched it and you had binary code. I'm sorry, you touched it or you bloody well didn't. You were there or you wasn't. Why are we lying? I don't know if they're paid to do it.
Who's saying they're lying?
Huh?
Who's saying they're lying? Who's saying it could possibly be 2 or 3 incidents, 2 or 3 landings?
But I'm not saying that. But it's what I'm saying in context. One person, first original statement said I didn't touch it. Then years later, he's come out and said I touched it and I received all this binary code come into my head. Okay, fine. So why didn't you tell me that on the night that you was there?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I can't.
But then you've got to take that on the other hand, because in this non-human, you've got Hulk saying something, and then he says, "I didn't say it."
Exactly my point.
He's clearly saying it. So what I'm saying is, perhaps they forget it. Perhaps, do you know what I mean? It's 40. How many years ago is it?
So you would forget.
Guys, I'm gonna have to shoot. This is gonna go on forever.
Take care, Paul, and we'll see you soon.
See you later,
Take care, everyone.
All I'm saying is something of importance regarding touching it and binary code. You're never forgetting. I get the point of what you see on the floor. You might have seen a footstep or the tripod and the things of what you've seen at that night with glowing red eyes. I get all that, but you don't forget about touching the thing and getting binary code come into your head. How do you forget that? How do you forget that?
You might have been injected with something.
That's what. But maybe. But they would have all been injected with something, in my eyes. And I don't. I don't
know. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
But that's what frustrates me. That's what frustrates me with the whole 1980s Rendlesham incident. It frustrates me to a T that there is loads of the main players in this incident have swapped and changed their stories over the years. Why? There's no need for it. I could tell you enough times when we went into Harwich Fault what happened. Have I ever changed my story? No, I haven't. Because I remember it.
But probably bits do get added.
Yeah, but nothing to severe. If there's a bit of evidence that we collect in ghost hunting, right, then will stick in my mind forever. Okay, it's there. Yeah. Of course, I might remember. Oh, I'm pretty sure that we heard 3 taps before the incident. Fine. Does that change what happens? No. But to say you touched it and then you didn't touch it, or you touched it and you didn't touch it, and then you received binary code. What are you going? I'd say, mate, whatever. You've just now thrown to me. If I saw the bloke, I'd say, sorry.
Who was it? Warren?
No, I think it was Penniston.
Who touched the craft that had the symbols on the.
But this was only come out in his 2nd book that no one knew at the time.
Yeah, but I'm
sorry.
The thing is, we're never going to get to the bottom of it. The only thing to do is go off on a different line, do our own investigation, try and call stuff forward.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm not disbelieving in something happened that night. Something did go on, because I've said that I believe something went out off the coast of that, because within Brenda Butler's book, she said that the military all around that time, there was more military police, more military soldiers, more boats were sent to the ocean that night than to that forest.
But you're never going to get to the bottom of that, because if you look into Shingle Street, there's nothing on that either.
No, because I say it's only just been released.
Yeah.
We're talking only 3 years ago.
Yeah, but then you'd have like if there was something at Shingle Street, you'd have like the Rendlesham incident and things like that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We're only going to start to find that now because of the freedom of information. You know, of course, we're not going to know about anything there because nothing crashed there, because it was all diverted to Rendlesham Forest. It was all diverted to that. So whatever happened that night around that area, everything is honed in, because we've got Holt's thing, we've got this thing, we've got that thing, we've got this sighting, we've got that sighting. Well, no one's ever going to look anywhere else, because that's where it all happened according to the plan. And I'm not saying nothing crashed there or landed there. I am saying something went down there. What it was is a whole different kettle of fish, because there is evidence that it took down the wooden posts at the end of the runway. You can't take that away from whatever went through that forest. It broke objects. It broke physical objects. And that's where you have to take it. For my opinion, something went on there. I just don't believe the people in question. That may offend others, and I do apologize, but I do think that they would have been told to say that. I do think that is what their job was to do, to open up this can of worms, whatever went there, if it was extraterrestrial, if it wasn't extraterrestrial. And I'm not saying that
we don't know
everyone. Yeah, I'm not saying anyone's all right. And I suppose if I've got to side with anybody in the whole situation, it'd probably be Colonel Holt. But I still don't really trust him in the matter, because I just don't. I don't know. I just don't get a gut feel, I suppose. But the other two, the players, I really don't trust. I really don't trust. And I think one of them big players is having a massive effect on one of the films that should have been out and we should have watched. I really do. But we'll never know.
No.
And on that note, we have gone over by 21 minutes, like the old style. It's all because let's blame Joe. Because So I'm going to end the show tonight, guys. Thank you for everybody that has watched and listened. If you are listening again, thank you ever so much. Just remember, if you are watching this, we have a Spotify link. I will update this in the next sort of half hour when it downloads, and I can upload it, and then you can listen again over the next coming days. So everybody, take care. Thank you ever so much, and we will see you next week. Take care.